This is ACC College Hoops. The Panthers and the Eagles with a winter storm warning bearing down on this part of the country. We're waiting for basketball in the ACC. The matchup tonight, it's the Pittsburgh Panthers going on the road to take on the Boston College Eagles from Conning Forum in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. It is so great to have you with us for our game this evening. Tom Wormy along with Dan Bonner. And Dan, right away, when you speak of the Panthers, you talk about their top two scorers. In fact, they're the top two in the conference. Jamel Artis, Michael Young. These guys combined, Dan, for over 44 points per game.
Obviously, they're two of the best players in the conference and very key to this Pittsburgh attack. Jamel Artis, an outstanding three-point shooter. You can see he's the ACC scoring leader. He really presents some matchup problems. And this guy, Michael Young, he presents matchup problems as well. He does a nice job with his ability to get the ball inside. And over the last couple games, they've been emphasizing him closer to the basket, and that has been a big boost.
Dan, as we move to our Hardy star to watch, he plays for Boston College, and he's the number 4 scorer in the conference, and that's Jerome Robinson.
And Jerome Robinson, now he hasn't shot the ball well the last couple of games, but they're expecting maybe a kind of a breakout performance from him tonight. He's been at the top of the scoring charts all year. He is one of the guys that has made this Boston College team greatly improved over last year. He's got to play well for them to have any chance of success.
Okay, Dan, so with so many great scorers in our game tonight, time to look at the 4 keys to the game, the Panthers and the Eagles.
The Pitt Panthers rely heavily on the three-point shot, but Boston College not really strong inside, so I think Pitt has to play inside out tonight. And for Boston College, the Panthers, very short-handed. They need to push the pace. Now, they've got to get back on defense, but they need to push the pace against Pitt.
In this series, the Panthers have won 10 in a row. BC hasn't beaten them since 2001. When we come back, it's the Eagles and the Panthers, ACC College Hoops from Chestnut Hill.
Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court. I like slam dunks, it takes me to the
Americans, 83% try to eat healthy, yet up to 90% fall short in getting key nutrients from food alone. Let's do more. Add One-A-Day Men's, complete with key nutrients we may need, plus heart health support with B vitamins. One-A-Day Men's in gummies and tablets.
The Works Pegasus, your workspace. Any place, find it at your local Lowe's. And Planet Fitness.
Downtown Boston bracing for a winter storm that is moving this way. We'll start with some basketball tonight, though. And as we documented at the top of the broadcast, some great scores in our game this evening between Boston College and Pittsburgh. The 61st all-time meeting between the programs. And Pittsburgh won at home last year in their only meeting, 84-61 in mid-January. Jeter and Jeffers on the opening tap, and Pittsburgh in the blue and gold controls for their opening possession. 12-11 is the record for the Panthers this season. 1-9 in conference play. That was Artis on the drive, and he landed awkwardly.
He hurt his ankle.
Yes.
You could hear him, and he's hopped well into the stands. Oh my! I mean, that's 40 feet off the court. Drives to the basket. Let's see if we can see what happens. Yeah, he steps on the foot of Mo Jeffers, driving the ball to the basket, and he knew it as soon as he turned it. Now watch him go. That's past the press. Okay, still going up into the stands. All right, keep going.
He really did not want to put any pressure on the right ankle at all. And his teammates come to his aid as the training staff also making its way behind the BC basket to our right.
The Panthers already extremely short-handed. They can ill afford to lose him. But based on what we just saw there, you got to hope. There's Ryan Luther. He's got still a stress reaction problem in his foot. They still think he's a week or so away, but you hope that maybe he just turned that ankle. Sometimes when you do that, it hurts like the devil, and then you're able to tape it up and go. But he sure looks uncomfortable. Oh,
yeah, he doesn't even want to venture towards his own bench. They're going to see if he might be able to walk it off. He's actually behind one of the hockey nets when they play hockey in here. That's how far away he is from the playing surface. The black part you see is actually the hockey boards when the BC Eagles hockey teams play. So a substitution in for Pittsburgh. Justice Kithcart has come in, number 5.
Well, okay, things could not have started any worse for the Pitt Panthers.
Wow, and you know, that's the leading scorer for this Panthers team, 20.7 points per game, and that's at the top of the list of the ACC this season as well. So they will attend to Artis, and BC will have its first possession.
And the Panthers open in a man-to-man. They just lost him. Jeffers with a good cut. The Pitt defense, they're very versatile guys. They're all about the same size. So they do a lot of switching in their man-to-man, and that time somebody just lost Mo Jeffers. BC also opens in the man-to-man. Connor Tavey matched up against Michael Young. That is a tall order for him.
Into the paint. Up off the glass and on the rim, and good as Chris Jones gets the basket for the Panthers.
Chris Jones is big and strong, and he's a guy that can drive the ball to the basket.
Entry pass, Jeffers again.
That's what we're talking about. They're doing a lot of switching on defense, and that time the switching resulted in the 6'1" Kithcart trying to go up against the 6'9" Jeffers. Nice job by BC to find that mismatch.
Jeffers started against Louisville in their most recent game for the Eagles. 21 minutes, 0 points and 2 rebounds. Early going tonight, 4 points for Mo Jeffers. Young driving up and under, other side of the rim.
You know, you guard him with a big guy, and he goes outside and drives right past, and that's exactly what you saw there. You guard him with a smaller guy, and what he does is go down inside. Here's that mismatch again.
Jeffers looking to pass out of it. Robinson.
Oh, what a play.
To the rim, and Cam Johnson deflected it out of bounds.
Now, Robinson, he's a guy who is very capable of getting to the basket, more noted for his ability to play in transition and shoot like the mid-range jump shot, but that was just a great defensive play by Cameron Johnson.
Bowman!
And Bowman can be one of the most exciting players in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and that's bad news for the Pitt Panthers. Bowman makes his first shot, and it looked really easy.
Led the team with 18 points on Saturday. Their loss against Louisville right here at Connie Forum for the Eagles. They're trying to snap a 6-game losing streak. This is Jones straight away. Rattles out to Tavey.
Jones tends to be a streaky three-point shooter.
Robinson's pass taken by Johnson.
That was a no-look pass. He should have looked.
Kithcart with a 3.
Oh, that's really important for the Pitt Panthers. Kithcart coming in. That's only his second three-point make on the year. He came in 1 for 15. And so particularly with Jamel Artis out of the game, they need somebody to step up.
Look at Bowman, Dan. Attack that rack, and he'll earn a couple of free throws.
Now, Bowman can do that. He is one of the most aggressive guys in the league. And this is going to be a real problem for Pitt because with Artis out of the game, they get even thinner. They just don't have any players.
Foul was on Chris Jones for Pittsburgh. 68% of the season from the stripe for Kai Bowman, the freshman from Havelock, North Carolina. There's Artis over on that Pittsburgh bench. So I guess the good news, Dan, is that he has not gone to the dressing room.
Well, I think they retaped the ankle.
Yeah.
It looks to me like he's putting his socks and shoes back on. There he is, standing up now.
Well, Kithcart, who came in for him, has the ball right now. He's seen action in 22 games this year. A couple of starts, but did not play in their most recent game at Duke on Saturday. Here's a steal. Chapman in transition. Kithcart got back defensively. And Chapman might have stepped on the end line when he regathered the ball under the basket.
Now the Pitt Panthers are a team that can get out and go, and Cameron Johnson drives the ball into the middle. And look here, as he drives the ball to the basket, there's the 4 guys from Boston College in the lane. That leaves Kithcart wide open, but he was only 1 for 15 from 3 coming in, so I think Boston College can live with that one.
Pittsburgh in the bottom third as far as three-point shooting is concerned in the conference. Michael Young, mid-range baseline, and that's a money shot for him.
Well, that's why he's so dangerous. He can shoot that mid-range shot. He's very effective from three-point range. He can be really good around the basket. He's just a very difficult matchup, and it's been one of the BC problems all year long. They just throw it away. Jim Christian has done such a nice job with this team. They have some scoring threats, and for the most part, they play hard. They weren't happy with their competitiveness in their last game, but these are guys who have played hard and played well all year long, have lost a bunch of close games. It's very hard to keep your spirit up when that continues to happen to you.
A couple of quality wins for the Eagles on their home floor this season, including a win against NC State and Syracuse, also here at Connie Forum. Jeffers drew a double.
Jeffers is not a great ball handler, so that's a pretty good move by Pitt.
Robinson pulls up for three. Jeter was right in front of him. May have affected that shot.
Well, the key there was Jeter didn't let Robinson get by. That's what Robinson is looking to do. He's looking to drive the ball past you, and Jeter just did a nice job staying in front. BC in a zone now.
Is that Cathcart again, Dan?
Well, the Boston College coaches are over there looking at one another. Wait a minute, this guy was 1 for 15 coming in the game. He's 2 for 2 so far today.
And the only reason he's in the game is because Jamel Artis landed awkwardly on a foot of a BC defender. I believe it was Mo Jeffers, right, Dan?
Yes, and there's Artis standing over on the sideline.
So he looks like he wants to come right back into the game, but Cathcart has hit a couple of threes in his absence. How about Jeffers on the glass? He earned another possession for BC, but a 3-second violation. So Jamel Artis only got to play a few seconds. Will he come back in for Pittsburgh?
This is simple.
You have the cure.
I was just leaving.
No one ever leaves.
What is this place?
It's all part of the cure.
A cure for wellness. Rated R.
If you have a typical airline credit card, you only earn double miles when you buy stuff from that airline. Wait, is this where you typically shop? You should be getting double miles on every purchase. Switch to the Capital One Venture card. With Venture, you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase, everywhere, every day. Not just airline purchases. Seriously, double miles. Everywhere. What's in your wallet?
A few seconds into our game, Jamel Artis, top scorer in the conference, an awkward step, and he had to leave the game, Dan.
And he hasn't come back in, but Justice Cathcart has come off the bench and made 2 threes. This is a guy who, coming into the game, was shooting 6.7% from beyond the arc on the season, and in ACC play was averaging 0.2 points per game.
Well, you see Michael Young also wearing that protective mask. January 11th at Louisville, he had an orbital bone fracture, so he's been wearing the mask ever since. In fact, they've adjusted it, and he's started to get a little bit more used to it as he averages over 20 points per game.
Cathcart, in 9 ACC appearances, had scored a grand total of 2 points, and he's already got 6 tonight.
It's amazing. So he remains in. This is Young. Jones and Jeter. Turnaround.
See, that's one where I think Jones needs to attack the basket. He needs to drive the ball all the way to the goal. And there's Chapman. This is a guy that has been unbelievably hot from beyond the three-point arc. He made 9 of 11 in that great game he had against Virginia Tech, which set an ACC record that stood for all of 3 days until the Gillen kid from Syracuse made 9 of 10.
He's now made 18 of his last 25 three-point attempts for Chapman, who had 10 points in the loss to Louisville and made a couple of threes in that game against the Cardinals. Shot clock is at 5. Davey trying to body Young.
And that's a shot clock violation. The shot clock went off and nobody had possession, so by rule they have to blow the whistle and call that a violation.
Kevin Stallings in his first year as the head coach of the Panthers. As a head coach,
Panthers now back into his zone.
Coach Stallings 1-1 in his career against Boston College. That's another easy bucket for Jeffers, Dan.
I think that was created by the penetration of Kai Bowman. One of the reasons you play a zone is to cut down on the penetration, but Bowman is so quick that he is able to get by you even in a zone defense.
6 early points for Jeffers as we cross the 13-minute mark of the first half. From Chestnut Hill and Connie Forum, Cam Johnson launching a 3. Tavy clears.
And Johnson is a very dangerous three-point shooter. And I think he's got to make some threes if Pitt is going to win tonight, particularly without Artis. And there's Chapman. He's more than just a three-point shooter. You get out there and cover him. He has the ability to put it down. He showed you there the one dribble and the pull-up jump shot, but he can also drive the ball to the basket.
BC on a 7-0 run after that Chapman bucket. He's a transfer from BYU and a great addition to this Boston College team. Tavy, just a little over-aggressive, picks up the foul.
Again, that's a very difficult matchup for Tavy. And we talk about Kai Bowman. He does most of his damage with the basketball, but moving without the basketball very effectively. Just stands there, finds the open spot in the zone, and then beats Cathcart. Easy job getting the ball to the basket. And now, Jamel Artis has entered the game as Bowman has left.
So Bowman, you saw how hot he has been from the floor. He's got 4 points, but has left the game. Young hangs and scores. Senior from Duquesne, Pennsylvania.
Mesniak's in the game now. He hasn't really played a great deal for Boston College this year.
Able to make the save in front of the Pitt bench. Robinson with a nifty drive to the rim.
And see, that's where Robinson's at his best. We said he can shoot the three, but when he puts the ball down and goes to the basket, he is extremely dangerous.
His first basket of the game after a 13-point performance against Louisville on Saturday. However, he did go 0 for 5 from three-point distance. Robinson deflected the pass from Cathcart.
And we talked about Robinson, the fourth leading scorer in the ACC, and that's what he does best. Just puts his head down, goes to the goal. BC leads it by 3.
This is simple. This is about Duke and Carolina.
Okay.
Inconsciente, a été transportée à l'hôpital. Aí, Pedro, preciso de você na caixa, Davi, ajuda ele. Você先把这弄上，对。
It isn't always easy to know where you stand financially. Multiple accounts, investments, insurance. At Northwestern Mutual, we help you see your whole picture, find out what you truly want, and we design a plan to go get it. We help you live life differently.
There is a lot on the line.
Technology empowers us to achieve more. It pushes us to go further.
Special Olympics has almost 5 million athletes in 170 countries. The Microsoft Cloud allows us to immediately be able to access information wherever we are. Information for an athlete's medical care or information to track their personal best. With Microsoft Cloud, we save millions of man-hours. And that's time that we can invest in our athletes and changing the world.
Logan, it's time.
Logan, rated R. ACC College Basketball is sponsored by the official corporate champions of the ACC, Geico, New York Life, Food Lion, Toyota, and Bojangles.
Boston College in Pittsburgh for the 61st all-time meeting. And the folks that decided to come out tonight watching some entertaining basketball in the first half. You can understand that some people might be going to the grocery store, Dan, because
I don't think they do that.
There is
this part of the country.
Yes.
I think they have their stuff already.
I'm from this part of the country, Dan. You got to get the bread and eggs.
They don't worry quite so much about it as they do in North and South Carolina.
No, I live down there now, yes, but I'm originally from Central Mass. By the way, they had a big party here yesterday, Dan, downtown Boston. Did you see any of that?
I did not.
Yeah, they
have lots of parties here in Boston.
They brought 5 big silver trophies with them on the party as the Super Bowl champs return from Houston. See if the Eagles can capitalize on some of that New England momentum. Meznieks for 3.
You've got a lot of strange things going on here. Meznieks, this is his 3rd game in ACC play. His 2nd 3-point basket. So you've got guys who haven't played at all. Kithcart, now Meznieks, who've been a factor early.
5 straight makes for the Eagles.
Well, they've gotten open shots.
Young trying to get around Popovich. Kicking out to Johnson, and he beats the shot clock.
And that's what happens. Young is maneuvering inside. Chapman stepped down to try to help out, and you cannot leave Cameron Johnson. Nice job by Young to find his open teammate out on the perimeter.
Cameron Johnson leads the team in 3-pointers made. He's now got 54 on the season. Tough shot from Robinson.
Wow.
Little fall away, Dan.
Wilson did a really nice job moving his feet, cutting him off, and you can't guard him any better than that. If he's going to make those shots, it's going to be a long night.
The sophomore from Raleigh, North Carolina, now has 4 points. High degree of difficulty on the last 2, and then Meznieks helping out defensively against Young.
Well, Meznieks gets the blocked shot, but the guy who made the play was Jerome Robinson. He stepped in front of Michael Young, made him stop and pull up to shoot the jump shot, and that gave Meznieks the time to recover and block it from behind.
You mentioned, Dan, Meznieks has only seen action now in 6 games this season. He averages 1 point per game and 0.4 rebounds per game, but he is in there now. Originally from Latvia.
Well, he's 6'7", 230 pounds. They need him to match up against Young.
Again, Pittsburgh went deep into the shot clock.
And there's Nix in the game. Nix is a great big guy. He doesn't move very well, but when he can establish himself down inside, he can make some contributions, and he has recently for the Panthers.
6'11" and 300 pounds, number 25 for Pittsburgh. Artis, turnaround miss.
That's the first shot for Artis. Nice catch.
Meznieks into traffic, and Nix takes it away, and then Meznieks commits the foul.
Meznieks telling Jim Christian he thought he was fouled on the play, and Jim Christian saying, just calm down.
He's excited to be in the game, Dan.
Well, absolutely.
Why not?
From experience, I can say when you never play and they put you in the game, it is an exciting kind of thing.
I don't believe that for a second.
You don't believe it's exciting?
No, I don't believe that you didn't play. I've seen your stats, Dan. From your years at Virginia. Seems like yesterday, doesn't it, Dan?
No, as a matter of fact, it doesn't.
Young with a turnaround. Weak side Nix. Look at him fighting with Popovich. And Robinson almost had it, but lost it out of bounds.
We mentioned the size of Nix, and that is what was the key factor right there. 6'11", 300 pounds.
I mean,
Popovich giving away more than 50 pounds.
Only guy I could think of that might rival him in size, Dan, would be B.J. Anya from NC State, maybe?
Well,
he's a little bit bigger, isn't he?
Slightly, yeah.
Bowman.
I don't think anybody rivals B.J. Anya in size.
Fight for the loose ball. Meznieks has it.
But Popovich did a great job there without fouling, going over the back of Nix. And there's Bowman. You get that extra opportunity, and Bowman is going to make you pay for it.
Second 3 of the game for Kai Bowman, now with 7 points for the Eagles.
And the fun thing about Bowman, you watch him play and you just get the idea he's really enjoying himself out there.
Scored 33 at home against North Carolina. Scored 30 against Syracuse, in that, which at the time was an upset win for BC.
Boston College there, Turner with the jumper, he misses, and there's Popovich doing a nice job tipping the ball away from Nix, and Mesniak just gets the open opportunity, and Bowman steps back and knocks it down. That's 2 he's made like that today. And when he's going to make those shots, you absolutely can't defend it.
So Mesniak comes out. 3 points, a rebound, an assist in 4 minutes of action.
Now he was giving Tavy a rest trying to guard Michael Young, but more than that, he made some great contributions.
Robinson one-on-one against Young, tried to beat Popovich. Young tried to save it, but he was out of bounds under the basket.
He was, and that was actually a break for Pitt because Young was saving the ball in under the wrong basket, and he was throwing it right to Connor Tavy. Kevin Stallings feels a little better that Jamel Artis can play, but he's still down by 8.
This is simple.
There is a threat to us all. Men in masks, raising up ancient machines. And I've seen their leader.
From the depths, I will raise an army. A storm of shadows to take back what's ours.
What is it?
The end. Or how it begins, anyway.
PlayStation.
John Baptiste has mastered new ways to play old classics. With Chase ATMs, he can master new ways to deposit checks too. Easy to use Chase technology for whatever you're trying to master.
ACC College Basketball is sponsored by Husqvarna. Performance, design, heritage. That's Husqvarna. Today's the day you save. Every day is Husqvarna Day. Visit Husqvarna.com for product details.
Well, within that trophy case, there is a Big East Tournament Championship trophy from 2001. In fact, that is the last win in this series for Boston College. They beat Pittsburgh in that final in 01, 79-57.
Boy, great block out inside by Jones. And that's where the Panthers have to improve. Boston College shooting 67%. The Panthers have to tighten it up on the defensive end.
Panthers have missed their last 6 shot opportunities.
They've been tough shot opportunities. A couple of them with the shot clock running down.
It's running down again, and the miss from Jeter out of the corner. But Dan, I'm keeping an eye on Artis just to see how he's getting around the court based on...
How's he doing?
He looks pretty good right now. I mean, but he did have an awkward step on a BC player's foot, Mo Jeffers, in the early portion of the game. Tavy wants 3.
Get closer.
Jones was driving, and he got fouled. They're going to keep it on the floor, though, prior to the shot. Stan Bonner, it's time for the Toyota trivia question. Here it is. In its 63-year history, how many different venues have hosted the ACC tournament? And whatever number that is, we're going to add 1 this year because we're going to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York.
Well, keep
the first of 2.
Right. Keep in mind with that number, there are cities that have hosted the tournament in different buildings.
2 different venues. Very good point, Dan Bonner.
And sometimes the venue, it's been a different venue, but it was called by the same name.
And then there are venues that are called by a different name now that hosted the event as well. Is that what you just said?
No, I said there are venues that were called exactly the same thing, even though they were different venues.
Gotcha. Robinson trying to defend.
And we shouldn't be spending that much time talking about that question.
Well, I mean, it's the Toyota trivia question, so think about that for a moment. By the way, I mentioned that win against Syracuse for Jim Christian and the Eagles. That was January 1st, 96-81 on this court. Their first ACC win since March of 2015, snapped a 20-game losing streak in the ACC for Boston College. And that's where you start, Dan. You got to start somewhere, right?
And I think that Boston College has made tremendous strides this year. The problem is they still are very limited personnel-wise, and even though they've got a couple of guys who can score, it just looks like they have run out of gas a little bit, and it's time to get your second win. They can still play the role of spoiler in this league.
Those are their 2 wins in league play against NC State, their most recent win, January 11th, and the win against Syracuse. Did Robinson pull a no-look and feed Tavy?
Nice job by Tavy to cut to the basket and to allow Robinson to just sort of drop the ball off behind him down on the baseline. That was a very, very nice play.
First bucket for Tavy tonight. Young rattles it home.
He's been the best offense. And Artis is out of the game again, Tom. Pitt now with a little half-court trap. There's Jamel Artis. He has not scored in the game today.
Robinson into a congested area, knocked away. Transition Jones. And that's going to go against Bowman.
And now, even though that was like 1-on-4, I thought that was a really good play by Chris Jones to be very aggressive with the ball. It's very hard to get back and get yourself set up to draw a charge. Bowman looked like he had pretty good position, but in transition, that's a call an official will very, very rarely make.
So Bowman now has 2 personal fouls with Jones at the line, and because of that, he'll come out of the game and get replaced in the BC lineup by A.J. Turner. So Bowman leaves Dan with 7 points. He's made both of his 3-pointer attempts.
Those are his only 2 shot attempts. But Bowman is more than just a guy who shoots the ball for Boston College. He passes it. He really is a guy you have to account for him on the defensive end. And even though he's gone out of the game with 2 fouls, we said he looks like he enjoys playing. He's enjoying himself tonight. That's great.
Robinson against 2 defenders does not get the roll, but he'll earn a trip to the free throw line.
Cathcart just not able to stay in front of Robinson out on the perimeter. And once you let Robinson get into this area right here, he is either going to score or he's going to get to the free throw line. Really, really difficult to keep him in front, but that's exactly what you have to do. Make him a standstill jump shooter from the perimeter, and the further out, the better.
So Robinson comes up empty at the free throw line.
That's rare. He shoots about 80% in conference games from the line.
Turner thought it was off of Pittsburgh. It was not.
Well, Manigault very fortunate that they kept that ball. He didn't even look. He was reversing the ball, throwing it over to Jones. Turner very nearly got it.
Manigault has not played in the last 2 games for Pittsburgh.
And Bowman just got up and was going in the game. And assistant coach Scott Spinelli grabbed him by the arm and said, "Hey, come back here. You got 2 fouls." That's pretty funny.
Jeter travels. BC clamping down on the blocks. BC up by 5.
Panthers playing in that man-to-man. Again, a lot of switching out there. Boston College took advantage of some mismatches early in the game.
Jamel Artis injured the right ankle on really the very first drive to the bucket.
The first play of the game.
Yeah.
They got the tip. He drove to the basket, and next thing you know, he's on the bench getting his ankle retaped.
Second foul on Manigault for Pittsburgh. That's 20.7 points per game sitting on that Pittsburgh bench right now, and Jamel Artis.
Well, it's interesting. The Panthers have actually played a lot more guys than we expected here in the first half.
Turner across the top of the backboard and then pulled down.
But it didn't go over the backboard,
no.
And so it stays in play.
Manigault didn't give up on it and made the rebound.
Well, Manigault and Cathcart in the game at the same time. There's not really a lot of firepower out there for the Panthers. Both Young and Artis are on the bench.
Cathcart, nice Manigault fumbled it out of bounds, but it's going to stay with the Panthers. So when we come back, Pittsburgh has the basketball here at Boston College.
Four distinct driving modes. Dynamic handling. Quicker shifts. Make every car a performance car. This is the ultra-responsive, accurate TLX, and this is how we make it.
Visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the TLX.
First half, they've led by as many as 9 as we're ready to answer the Toyota trivia question. In the history of the ACC tournament, how many different venues have hosted? Dan Bonner, here is the list and the answer. 11, and this year it will be 12 with the addition of the Barclays
Here's
Center.
what we're talking about, the Charlotte Coliseum.
Sure.
The Charlotte Coliseum, both different buildings,
Yes.
same name, and now we've got the Charlotte Spectrum Center. So, and you're right, we got a new one this year.
Last year at the Verizon Center, which was a wonderful tournament last year, won by North Carolina against Virginia in the finals in Washington, D.C., which was such a gracious host to us last year. And this year, the destination, Brooklyn, New York, at the Barclays Center. First of a 2-year stint at the Barclays Center.
And Artis remains on the bench for the Pitt Panthers. So you got to figure that ankle is really bothering him.
He's only gotten 2 shot attempts in the time he's been in the game.
Boy, what a factors Jeffers has been in the game. That's now 8 points. I think he's made all 4 of his field goal attempts. Yes, he has. You know, we thought maybe the Panthers would have a little bit of an advantage inside, but not so far.
Young. Robinson tapped it to Tavy. Bowman back in the game for Boston College.
And Bowman, you know, you can always be careful on defense, but sometimes a guy like Bowman who likes to drive the ball to the basket gets in trouble, gets that 3rd foul with an offensive foul on offense.
But that quick dribble between the legs to free himself up for the shot. Couldn't convert.
He just made a 3 like that a couple of possessions ago.
That's his first miss from the floor in the game. 2.5 minutes to go, Dan.
Really been a tough first half for the Panthers. They do not play very many minutes without Jamel Artis on the court, and they've gone most of the first half without him.
How about Kithcart?
But that's okay. They have Steph Curry. Kithcart literally had scored 2 points in ACC play, and now he's got 3 3-point baskets.
9 points for Kithcart with the 3 threes. Johnson, Jeter. Couldn't get it over the front rim.
When Jeter is a guy who's got to make some contributions for the Panthers, particularly without Artis being available. And Jeter's just been a non-factor in the game today. He's made 1 free throw, has only attempted 2 shots. There again, Artis hurt his ankle on the first play of the game. Did come back in, play a total of 6 minutes, but he's on the bench. There's Mesniak, who made a nice contribution, trying to guard Michael Young coming in the game again.
Johnson catch and release. Big man-sized rebound by Young and the putback.
We talked about his ability to play close to the basket, and he just showed it right there. That's why he is so versatile and so difficult to defend. That's a kickball.
Michael Young, double figures, 10 points in the first half. The 23rd time this season he's gone for double figures as a consistent scorer for this Pittsburgh team, and over 20 points per game.
Well, of course, that's no surprise. The surprise is that it's a 2-point game, and the Panthers have not had Jamel Artis in this first half.
Chapman. Popovich came over the top against Young and knocked it out of bounds, and the Panthers can extend on a 9-2 run.
Boston College has gotten themselves in a situation where they've taken some tough shots.
42% from the floor for the Panthers in the first half. Jones around the edge and in.
Once again, when he's able to get going and get turned and headed toward the basket, he is tough to stop. You know, he hasn't taken that many free throws this year, and you get a guy like him, 6'6", 215 pounds, he can handle the ball pretty well, just attacks the basket, and Popovich not able to get over there in time to help. And he's a guy who ought to be driving the ball to the basket more.
And he gives the Panthers the lead.
Well, and he's a pretty good free throw shooter, too. Coming into the game, 75% in conference play.
At the other end, Popovich beats everybody to the basket.
Now we saw Jeffers get open all alone under the basket. And again, Pitt with that switch in defense, they just lose track of the big guy.
Stops a 12-2 run by the Panthers. DC taking the lead right back. Here's the final minute from Connie Forum in the first half. Cathcart swings it into the corner.
Boy, Jeter's got to be ready to shoot that ball.
Johnson's ready to shoot. High degree of difficulty. Young again with position.
Young had position because Popovich came over to help out against the drive to the basket, and that is why defenses do not like that penetration, because it forces help, and if you don't get proper rotation, you get an easy one inside.
So Turner comes in because Bowman just picked up his third personal foul, so he goes to the bench stand with 7 points, one behind his teammate Jeffers.
And that's one where Bowman's just got to step away from that. You got to understand the situation of the game and your importance to your team. Just step back. The 2 points that Michael Young would have scored are not nearly as important as the fact that that was your third foul.
Young with a game-high 24 points at Duke.
You know, it's weird. Young has been such a great free throw shooter throughout his career, and he's been oddly ineffective in ACC play. You've got a quick look at Jamel Artis sitting on the bench.
Just 6 minutes of action in this first half for Artis, who turned his right ankle very early in this game. Popovich with the pirouette goes back to the left. Did everything but score the bucket.
Pretty good job by Jeter to stay between Popovich and the basket. Panthers going to hold it for the last shot.
Tied at 31 in the final 10 seconds. Cathcart dropped it underneath to Jeter. He missed.
Boy, Jeter has really struggled in this half, and you can see his reaction.
Just 1 point in the half for Jeter, but the Panthers finish on a 13-4 run to tie this game at 31. Our halftime activities are straight ahead.
Welcome to the Watch ESPN Halftime Show. I'm Kerry Chow. We'll get you out to the second half in a moment, but first, we're going to drop some college hoops knowledge on y'all, including how bracketology is going to Oxford and the tallest fraternity in college hoops history. But we begin with the diaper dandies, the youngins, the rooks. Let's get to know the latest batch of freshman stars off the court with some freshman orientation.
I can play the saxophone a little bit. Just a little bit. I've been playing since I was in about the 6th grade, middle school. I actually was in a class, and it was kind of mandatory. I took band, and that was my instrument that I played. I'm decent. I wouldn't say good.
Today's lesson is on point guards. UCLA's Lonzo Ball. Some people look, other people see. Lonzo Ball sees. He sees the floor, he sees everyone on the floor, and he can also make shots. He throws it like this, but you know what? Swish, it goes in. Lonzo Ball is like today's Jason Kidd. UCLA has got the real deal at the point guard position. Class dismissed. Get out of my sight!
I'm Prim Saripapat. Earlier this year, Gino Auriemma reached career win number 900, and he reached that mark faster than any other coach in NCAA history. Our very own Kevin Nagandi sat down with the UConn women's head coach to talk basketball, life, and more.
We're at your restaurant now, and you're a big food guy. Italian food, right?
Well, first of all, every Italian knows this. You could put extra virgin olive oil on your shoe, and you eat it, and it tastes really good. The great thing about Italian food is it's so simple. And the less complicated it is, the simpler it is, the better it tastes. I'm not afraid to try things. I think I got a kind of a spirit of adventure from my mom. My mother has a constant message for me every time I talk to her. 1, how you feeling? 2, take care of yourself because you're not getting any younger. And 3, stop being mad at the girls.
Are you mad at the girls, though?
How you feel? No, because she watches every game on television, and the minute I raise my voice, she gets pissed at me. And there's some truth to that. Obviously, I have a fear of failure. I think we all do.
How do you use that fear of failure to your benefit?
It's not the absence of fear. It's being afraid and getting the job done anyway. And I talk to my players a lot about that. What separates the great ones from everybody else is, in spite of being afraid of all those things, you're going to figure out a way for us to win. And you're going to play great. And I think that's the way I feel. I'm always afraid. I'm always afraid for our team.
Are you on Facebook or Twitter?
No. Well, I used to be on Twitter. They took me off.
Why?
I just, get a stream of consciousness and go. So now I'm not allowed to do that anymore, which is really good because I don't have to worry about it. But there are times, man, like I'm itching. So I'm on it because I want to read,
Yeah.
But I can't be trusted.
Pat Summitt, the winningest coach in the history of men's and women's Division I basketball, has died at the age of 64.
When Pat passed away, did that give you a sense of pause of just understanding your mortality and what's ahead and maybe what you want to still accomplish in life as well as a coach?
I do remember thinking, all those wins and all that adulation and all those championships and everything that goes with that doesn't really mean a whole lot right now. But I find myself thinking a lot about there's got to be more to life than just coaching women's basketball.
Do you think about, I want to do something else outside of this?
I always do, but I know I can't keep myself going in one direction for too long. In a real perfect world, I would like to wake up every week and be someplace else, doing something else, and having an impact there, and then moving on to the next thing.
But you've been doing this for 30 years.
I know.
Which I find funny.
It's about the money.
It can't be. How much longer do you think you have it?
You have it as long as it wants you. I know it's not going to last forever, and I know I don't want to be doing this when I'm 80.
Is there a fear of the unknown? Because we've seen that with great coaches who hang on a little bit longer than expected. Or we've seen coaches who don't know anything else to do.
Yeah, no, that's not me.
Is there a fear that you don't know what's on the other side?
No, I'm the best at doing nothing. I would be pretty good at just sitting on the beach and reading for a long time and playing golf every day. Believe me, I would find a million things to do. That would have nothing to do with basketball or anything like that.
Auriemma has often been compared to legendary UCLA men's basketball head coach John Wooden, and twice he's broken Wooden's old mark, one of 88 consecutive wins and the other of 10 national titles.
You ready, Mercedes?
I'm ready.
Okay, we're going to run the lane. You own the middle now. That's all you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Fast, rapid fire. If you could take one item on a road trip every time you went, what would be the one item you have to have?
Headphones.
Okay, what's your favorite pizza topping?
Barbecue chicken.
What's the most embarrassing song on your phone?
Probably a country song, Rascal Flatts.
What's your favorite social media?
Instagram.
Good job. Fast break-in with Mercedes Russell.
Harry Giles, 7'3" wingspan, 9-foot reach. The dude's got skills. I mean, he can handle it, shoot it, shake you, and has a middle game. Reminds me a little bit of Paul George. Both can shoot it, put it on the floor, versatile, can play more than one position. Class, all this will be on the final exam.
Duke hoping to cut down the nets at the end of the season. This year, the study of NCAA brackets has reached a new level of credibility, as Joe Lunardi's term bracketology has been added to the Oxford Dictionary. It's real now, yo!
ESPN bracketologist Joe Lunardi here with an update on my latest favorite book. It's the Dictionary. The Oxford English Dictionary, to be precise. This past September, the noun bracketology was officially added to that dictionary, joining more than 829,000 words, senses, and compounds from across the English-speaking world. As Barry Manilow used to sing, it looks like we made it. Indeed, it's fair to say we've come a long way from scribbling out brackets on napkins or posting updates on websites far less credible than the likes of ESPN.com. Heck, making the dictionary is like becoming a scholar, a tenured professor, or in this case, a basketball savant. It wasn't easy reaching this new height. Hey, at my height, reaching anything isn't easy. But when the Oxford English Dictionary defines you, you have a new credibility. It should make every member of the tournament selection committee quiver. And if that doesn't work, I'll just send autographed copies of my book. I hear it's a real page-turner.
Props, Joe. Not to be confused with Prop Joe, a character from The Wire. Easy mistake. Now, we've seen some star-studded teams in college basketball that could put on a show, but the 1983 Houston Cougars were among the original high flyers. Led by Akeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler, Houston ran through the competition until the NCAA title game. Here's a clip from the 30 for 30 film Phi Slamma Jamma on how they got their name.
That season, they were a must-see. I remember they were playing a Sunday afternoon game against the University of Pacific. I was alone trying to figure out what to write. I mean, what do I write about a 50-point blowout? I thought, well, let's see, they had 10 dunks. What would you call a dunking fraternity? Well, you got to start with Phi. Okay, Phi Gamma. Okay, Gamma, how about Slamma? And then Jamma goes with that because jams and slams are together. So it became Phi Slamma Jamma.
The great Thomas Bach has named this team, and what an appropriate name, Phi Slamma Jamma.
Next day, I got a phone call from Frank Schultz, who was an associate at AD in sports, and he said, wow, that's unbelievable. Can we use that? I said, yeah, go ahead. Put it out there. Take it.
It happened overnight. The marketing department, the media, everyone read the column by Tommy Bunk, saw the name. Those guys just fell in love with the name Phi Slamma Jamma.
It wasn't any big marketing firm. It wasn't an advertising deal. It was almost like a movement that kind of grew.
Everybody grabbed a hold of this and said, this is what we are. Texas' tallest fraternity. We're Phi Slamma Jamma.
A seemingly innocent newspaper column turned into a college basketball monster called Phi Slamma Jamma.
He's got the break. Oh, another!
Phi Slamma Jamma made basketball cool.
They called him Phi Slamma Jamma.
And it made University of Houston cool.
Watch out. Showtime.
We became the city of Houston's team.
The fever around this town is just unbelievable at this university. It's just tremendous.
A collegiate team in a pro town.
I'll say Phi Slamma Jamma one more time.
Okay, we'll try to play it for you again.
Texas is a football state, traditionally. But in those Phi Slamma Jamma years, we flipped it and made it a basketball state.
Get everybody together. Time to move.
Turn it up. 'Cause you don't even know. I can make your hands clap. Said I can make your hands clap. And I can make your hands clap. Turn it up. And I can make your hands clap.
That's going to do it for the Watch ESPN Halftime Show. Hope you feel enlightened. All right, let's get you out to the second half. Thanks for watching. I'm Kerry Chow.
This is simple. This is about Duke and Carroll.
Hey, Draymond. Hey. Morning. Hey, what's up?
Turn down KD versus Russ.
They're going to need to bring some fight if you want to win this game.
There is a lot on the line.
Where a king ruled. Where a bear rose. Where a tiger arrived. Where history lives. At the Masters.
This is going to be a blockbuster.
Okay, people, I'm sure you've gotten the memo by now that we are switching things up for the 6 p.m. Eastern Sports Center. It is a new day, right, Jay?
Mm-hmm. And this team, all of you, is the reason why.
This pleases me, yes. Now, granted, we're still the stars as people who spent years in the business as co-hosts of the wildly successful show His and Hers, but for this new venture, it's about all of us.
Preach. Yep. So welcome to the 6.
Right.
Disclosure, Dan. I'm from down the road in Worcester, Massachusetts originally, and that was quite a Sunday and one of the most amazing sporting events ever.
It was a great game, but as a Yinzer, I have to say I'm not all that excited about it.
Jeffers, that close to another bucket for Jeffers would have been double figures.
Well, and here's Artis back in the game to start the second half. He got injured 19 seconds into the game, only played 6 minutes in that first half. Let's see if he can go here in the second.
First miss of the game for Jeffers on the previous offensive sequence for the Eagles. Young against Tavy.
See, Tavy can't guard him in there without help.
And that's the second on Tavy.
You know, Tavy, 6'6", 250 pounds, but Young is just too crafty down on the inside. And if you're Tavy, well, he committed the foul there by dropping that arm down. If he just moves his feet, stays between Young and the basket, forces Young to shoot the jump stop, then that's as much as you can expect.
13 points for Michael Young.
And keep in mind that Ty Bowman has those 3 personal fouls. Let's see if that cuts into his aggressiveness, because BC really needs him to be aggressive.
7 points for Bowman. 2 of 3 from the floor, and they're both three-pointers. In fact, all his shot attempts have been threes. Here's Jeffers. The turnaround. High-arcing shots.
Wow. And that's against Michael Young, and Young did a pretty good job forcing Jeffers a little further away from the basket than Jeffers normally operates, but he still knocked down the jump shot. What a great contribution he's made tonight.
Double figures for Jeffers with 10. Michael Young with a 3 at the other end.
And there's the problem for Connor Tavy or anybody who's trying to guard Michael Young. You got to guard him inside, you got to guard him outside. Just a very difficult matchup.
16 points in his first three-pointer. Robinson gliding to the basket, did not have the angle on the left-handed layup.
Nice defense by Young to force him into a tough shot without fouling.
Johnson runs it down.
Panthers are going to need some contributions from Johnson and Jeter if they expect to win this game.
Driving Jeter, fouled by Jeffers.
And that's a very difficult assignment for Jeffers out on the perimeter. Jeter is a guy who moves pretty well. And he's also an excellent free throw shooter. Doesn't get to the free throw line very much, particularly in conference play. But he's an excellent free throw shooter. If he sees Jeffers guarding him on the perimeter, that's what he ought to do, is put it down and go.
This is the second year for Jeter playing for the Pittsburgh program. Jeffers picked up the foul, his first. He transferred from Vanderbilt, which means when he played at Vanderbilt, he played for his current coach, Kevin Stallings. Averages about 7 points per game. He is their leading rebounder, just over 7 per game for Jeter.
And particularly, he's a great offensive rebounder, and only had one of those in the first half. But the Panthers are at their best when Jeter is scoring and rebounding well.
Tavy is the cutter. Tried to give it to Chapman, stolen by Jeter. Numerical advantage behind the back to Jeter for the rim rattler, and it came from the wraparound from Johnson.
Well, I'm not sure that pass was necessary. It didn't look to you like he almost got it caught on his back. That's a really good play by the Panthers, and I think Johnson is as happy as anybody that that ball gets all the way through. Good pass. Nice job by Jeter on the finish. Pitt leads it by 7.
This is simple.
KD's back in OKC to take on Russell Westbrook. This is gonna be crazy. Turn down KD versus Russ. Big Jacks. Turn down cities, return to OKC. Warriors, Thunder, Saturday on ABC.
We are switching things up for the 6 p.m. Eastern Sports Center. It's a new day, right, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
But this new joint, it's about all of us.
Preach. So welcome to the 6.
Right.
ACC College Hoops. From Connie Forum in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, Tom Wormy along with Dan Bonner and our outstanding ACC College Hoops production crew. Boston College with the ball, Dan. But Pittsburgh ended the first half on a 13-4 run, starting the second half on a 9-2 run.
And one of the reasons for that is Robinson has been quiet tonight, so that's a good sign for Boston College that he's in to score. And remember, Bowman has those 3 fouls, so he's got to be a little bit careful. So BC's got to pick it up on the defensive end.
Young. Offensive glass Artis. The ankle stood up on that offensive rebound for Artis. Again, if you're just joining us, he tweaked that right ankle at the very beginning of the game on a drive. Jeter out of the corner, and it's a 3-ball.
That's one of the guys we were talking about, Jeter. He's now scored a couple of baskets here in the second half, has some rebounds to go with it.
Tavy close to the rim, back to Bowman. Now Robinson into the paint, spins it in, and the foul.
See, now Robinson is a guy who can shoot the 3, but I think if I'm guarding him and he gives me that pump fake from 3, I'm going to stand there and say, go ahead, take the 3, because this is where he's most dangerous, slashing through the lanes. Look how he weaves his way through traffic. He can really attack the basket. He finishes with either hand.
He's got 8 points now. Turner's going to come in for Bowman.
And it's just going to be very difficult for Boston College. We talked about the effort that Jeffers has had tonight, that he scored in double figures, and Chapman has made a couple of baskets. But if Boston College is going to be real effective on the offensive end, Bowman has to score, Robinson has to score, and those guys just haven't done it effectively.
They've combined for 15 points so far tonight, and Robinson has missed all 3 of his free throw attempts.
Right, but they've been quiet during those Panther runs. And I know that puts a lot of pressure on those guys, but they're the guys who have to produce.
Shot clock to 4. Artis falling away.
Now that's the Jamel Artis that we know. He can take and make tough shots. Didn't look like there was any problem with his ankle or anything else right there.
Artis had 17 points and 9 rebounds in the loss Saturday at number 21 Duke, 72-64 for Pittsburgh, which shot the ball well in that game, 51%. Jeffers a twisting attempt and he misses.
Well, Artis had a half like I've rarely seen in all the years I've been doing this out of Louisville, where he had 32. So he can score. And we mentioned that Jamel Artis, he injured his ankle on the first play of the game, but no problems here. Nice job cutting him off. Pretty good defense, but that time good offense wins out. Panthers by 8.
This is simple. This is about Duke. The North Carolina-Duke rivalry always seems to deliver. There is a lot on the line.
Not again. I didn't know you guys were watching last night. Thank you guys. It means a lot. Thank you. What are you talking about, stuff? I had that 27-10 last night, and today, chicken curry. 54 points last week, and the next day, curry stew.
Yeah, but stuff, I don't think
Thank you guys so much. Thank you. It means a lot. I lace them up every night for guys like you.
Who was that guy?
I don't know. Seems like the chicken, though.
It's the 3. He's got a couple of offensive rebounds and putbacks today. So we said it before the game, and people have been saying it all year. He has a complete game, and he is a very difficult matchup. And Boston College has had their hands full trying to handle him.
In his last 57 games, Dan, he's gotten to double figures 52 times. And now 83 for his career in double figures.
Nice catch.
Trying to add to the total. Free throw attempts are coming for number 2 in blue.
And that time he went to the basket looking for the contact rather than looking for the basket. I think if he just focuses on trying to get it to the goal, that might have been an and one situation. You mentioned that mask. That is a custom-made mask. The first couple times we saw him, he was just wearing a mask that they ginned up in the back room in the training room, and he really had a hard time seeing. But this is something that's custom-made. Of course, they couldn't do it until the swelling went down. But he's much more comfortable with this particular apparatus than he was with the other one.
5 of 6 from the free throw line, and now 18 points for Michael Young. That injury happened in the game at Louisville on January 11th. That's the game where Jamel Artis went for 43 points, a career high.
32 in the second half, where he was just fabulous. Now what? Well, they got Michael Young that time hanging on to Tavy as he cut to the basket. And the problem with that, you're able to hang on. That's his first foul. If it's down inside in a crowd, the official can't see it. But right out there in front of everybody, you're going to get called every time.
This 10-point lead for Pittsburgh is its largest of the game. BC led by as many as 9 in the first 20 minutes. Approaching the 15-minute threshold of the first half. Tavy. Young defended. Artis grabbed it.
Tavy went to the wrong spot. If he stays a little deeper in the corner, he catches the ball with more room, and maybe he's able to do something with it. But he got too close to the basket, and the passing lane was not very good.
10 minutes of action tonight.
Just hard for BC to play without Bowman. Now that's a heck of a play by Tavy right there. That time he followed Young and got both hands on the ball. It's a held ball situation. Boston College will keep the ball. So Young has won most of these battles tonight, but not this one. Tavy comes from behind, gets great position, gets both of his hands on the ball. Also looks like he got hit in the chin right there.
That's some play by Tavy.
Tavy's a graduate transfer from Western Michigan. Does have over 1,000 career points in his combined time at Western Michigan and now here this season at Boston College.
So let's see with Bowman back in the game if Boston College can get something rolling here.
This is Bowman. Triggers the 3.
That'll help. I think if I'm Pitt, I'm going to play close to him and force him to drive the ball, see if maybe we can't pick up a charge and get his 4th foul on it.
10 points for Bowman, double figures. Artis spots up for the 3.
Oh, nice job by Chris Jones. He was in a pack there and was able to tip it out.
Pitt by 7. Johnson drops it off, and it's an easy 2 for Artis.
Lots of times when guys drive the ball to the basket, they're not under very much control and they pick up the charge. That time Johnson saw the defense coming, was able to maintain control of his body and make the great pass.
He's had a couple of pretty assists. Remember the wraparound pass on the break, and now that one off the mark, and here's Artis.
Well, Johnson can shoot the 3 certainly, but he's figuring out other ways that he can help the team, and he drives the ball to the basket very effectively.
Jones gave it to Jeter, who puts it up on the square. Biggest lead of the night. Timeout on the court.
Once again, Jones drives the ball to the basket, draws the defense. Here comes Johnson driving through, avoids the charge. Robinson was in pretty good position, but Johnson didn't give him a chance. Johnson gets himself stopped and slides away from the charge. And Artis is wide open. That's Artis' second basket of the game. So Artis has done a nice job. He's got 4 points here in the second half after not scoring in the first half.
Well, Dan, coming up next, the Virginia Tech Hokies travel to South Florida to face Davon Reed and the Miami Hurricanes. ACC Conference play heating up as the countdown to Brooklyn begins. Hokies and Hurricanes next. Durham and Alexander on the call.
Again, that is a very important game. Zach Leday had a tough night against Virginia, but he is, we talk about Michael Young being a matchup problem. Zach Leday is the same kind of matchup problem. And Davon Reed has had an outstanding season for the Miami Hurricanes.
Bowman steps back for 3 and misfires. Pittsburgh, by the way, is trying to snap an 8-game losing streak, Dan. They've lost 5 in a row away from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In fact, 6 of their last 9 games, including tonight, have been on the road away from Peterson Event Center. That'll stay down for Young.
What a night he's having. It doesn't matter who they have trying to guard him. That time Popovich was trying to guard him, so he just took the big guy outside. So this is beginning to get away from Boston College.
21 points for Young, 13th time this season. He's gone for 20 or more. Popovich, a very much needed bucket for BC.
Not really anything more Jeter could do right there. A mismatch in terms of size. He prevented Popovich from getting a layup, and Popovich made a nice shot.
Freshman from Bosnia and Herzegovina now has 4 points with that interior move. Johnson stepping back. Popovich deflected it over to Robinson.
See, now you got to push. Robinson's not going to shoot that 3 unless you're right on him and he's going to put it in the basket. But I think that's what you got to force Robinson to do. Don't let him drive the ball to the basket. If he's going to make that one, then you just got to tip your hat.
11 points in his first 3 of the night for Robinson. Johnson aggressively to the rim. Ran into 2 defenders. I think they flagged Popovich for the personal foul.
And we've talked about Jerome Robinson. We've seen him driving the ball to the basket tonight. Here he gives the fake, drives the defender away with the dribble, and then knocks down the 3. BC trying to mount a comeback.
This is simple. This is about Duke and Carolina.
The North Carolina-Duke rivalry always seems to deliver.
Greatest rivalry in all of college sports.
They're going to need to bring some fight if you want to win this game.
There is a lot on the line.
Hi, thanks for coming. This year, Chevy received more J.D. Power Initial Quality Awards than any other car brand.
I'm very, very impressed.
Did I mention they received more of them last year, too?
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
And the year before that. And the year before that.
So it keeps going.
In fact, Chevy has received more J.D. Power Awards for initial quality than any other car company, 4 years in a row.
I'm speechless. Impressive. Chevy stepping up their game.
ACC College Basketball is sponsored by The Works Pegasus, your workspace. Any place, find it at your local Lowe's.
A bustling downtown Boston, not far from our location in Chestnut Hill, with Pittsburgh trying to get its first win on the road in conference play. Artis and Young are top 2 scorers, but Artis has been limited tonight.
Artis limited by that ankle injury. He suffered 19 seconds into the game. And, between the 2 of them, they average 41 points a game, and they're right on pace for that. That's 25, even though Young has 21 of them and Artis only 4.
Cam Johnson at the free throw line for the Panthers.
The Panthers have moved the ball very effectively here in the second half. Kevin Stallings has to be very satisfied. His team has scored 7 field goals, 6 assists. And we talked about Sheldon Jeter needing to provide a little offense. He has 10 points in the game, 9 of them coming here in the second half. And there's Cameron Johnson driving the ball to the basket and scoring as well.
5 points for Johnson after his trip to the free throw line. Mezniak's back in for BC with the basketball.
I think the Panthers have picked it up on the defensive end of the court as well. Boston College, not quite as many openings as they had in the first half.
Here's Bowman, the floater. Too much on it.
And that was well defended. That's what we're talking about with the Pitt defense. They've not allowed a lot of those easy opportunities that Boston College was able to get in the first half.
Johnson has to run it down. Artis and Young, so important to this team's success inside.
Boy, that was great defense by Popovich coming over. And there's Jones, who has done that repeatedly tonight. And that's where he's most effective. He's got a great mid-range game, and he can really drive the ball to the basket, and we've seen those skills this evening.
He's got 9 points, also had 9 in the loss at Duke on Saturday. Robinson for 3.
Okay, if you're going to play him for the drive, he's going to pull up and shoot the 3.
He's got 14 points in the game, Dan. 10 in the second half, and another 3-pointer for Robinson. He's now 2 for 3 from 3-point territory. Kithcart. Young turnaround over Bowman.
I was surprised Young threw it out the first time, Tom, because Bowman has 3 personal fouls. That's quite a mismatch. That time Young took advantage.
23 points for Michael Young, 12 in this half. He's above his season average of 20.4, which is second best to his teammate Artis in the ACC, and that foul coming against the Panthers.
We've talked about the Panthers passing the ball very well, and here you get an opportunity to see it. The drive and then a really nice little kick in, and they keep the ball moving, and as a result, Jones gets an opening and goes to the basket. But the thing that started that defensive breakdown was that man right there and that great pass that he made. And then Young did a nice job getting rid of the ball quickly.
They gave that last foul to Sheldon Jeter. So now it looks like Johnson and Jones come out for Pittsburgh. Artis has returned to the lineup, with Robinson at the free throw line for Boston College.
Well, Jones actually took himself out of the game. He signaled that he needed a blow. So the Panthers have, you know, mainly the fact that Artis hasn't played as many minutes as usual, but they've used more guys tonight than sometimes they do.
Pittsburgh trying to extend its winning streak to 11 in a row in this series. And they've won 6 in a row right here in Chestnut Hill against the Eagles. Baseline Young. That is his sweet spot, Dan. Well, there's a lot of sweet spots, but that's one of them.
And you just, the coaches on the Boston College bench are looking around there and saying, hey, you know, we told everybody about that.
Robinson by Artis. Dropped it off. Popovich the layup. Unselfish play from Robinson.
And Robinson has played unselfishly throughout the entire season. Nice pass.
Ball never hits the floor, and Jeter bends that rim.
Well, when somebody presses you, you make them pay, and that was an impressive look right there.
Bowman cut off by Artis. Popovich one-on-one.
You get that nice little hook in there. And that's what you have to do. You have to play him one-on-one. You can't drop off him and give Robinson or Bowman or Turner an open 3-point look.
8 points now for Popovich, who was the hero in that victory against Auburn earlier this season at Madison Square Garden for BC. A tip-in game-winning bucket with 0.2 seconds left on the game clock. Jeter passed it up. Artis fires away.
That's great ball movement. They didn't get a basket, but that looked pretty up until the time the shot bounced out.
Robinson missed on the 3 attempt. Young.
Okay, he's officially on fire.
28 points, Dan Bonner.
So the two of them average 41 a game. They've got 38, or they got 32 now.
Yep. That rattles out. Popovich had the position, and he'll get a couple of fouls, Dan. Foul shots.
The Pitt Panthers, this is the way you break the press. 1 dribble, 4 passes, easy basket. It's been a heck of a second half so far for the Pitt Panthers.
This is simple. This is about Duke and Carolina.
Scott? Mm-hmm. Did you possibly switch chairs with me?
No, not me.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Good luck finding your chair, LeBron.
Okay. Okay.
Turn down for the supernova prime of one of the most explosive athletes we'll ever see.
NBA Saturday Primetime. Warriors, Thunder, Saturday at 8:30 Eastern on ABC.
The game summary.
You can see some guys scoring pretty well. And for Boston College, Tom, you asked the question, how do you shoot 50% in the second half and fall behind by 12 points? Well, it happens because Pitt is shooting 71% in the second half. And I got a technical question for you, Tom. What is the most important thing that you absolutely have to score?
The basketball.
That's right, you need the ball. And the Panthers have not turned it over in the last 17 and a half minutes. And so that means they've gotten a lot of scoring opportunities. There's Jeffers driving inside again. So when you hang on to the basketball and you shoot 71%, that's how you build a lead.
Mo Jeffers with 12 points, just one shy of his season high. He's a graduate transfer from Delaware. So his best performance in a BC uniform, 13 points. He's got 12. Robinson deflects it. Potential 3-on-2 for BC. Robinson looks like he's going to get a couple of shots out of that deal, Dan.
Right, Kithcart that time was trying to make the right play, get the ball moving around the perimeter, but you just can't be that nonchalant with the basketball. And Robinson, he shows you he's got some defensive skills too. That was really a nice job knocking that ball away. And finally makes a free throw.
Damon Wilson picked up the personal. 3 fresh Panthers coming in. Young and Jeter, he'll adjust that mask and put it on again.
So Robinson now 3 for 6 from the line. And as we mentioned, he's a much better free throw shooter than that. I think that's a really good part of his game, though, is getting to the line.
So Robinson after the free throws.
So a little run, mini run here by Boston College.
He's up to 18 points.
And we just talked about how Pitt hadn't turned it over, and they just turned it over. That was their first turnover since 4 minutes and 52 seconds remained in the first half.
Jeffers thought he had a block there as Jones was driving.
Rarely are the officials going to give you the blocked shot when your arm comes that far down. Jones drives to the basket, and Jeffers is going to reach over and just brings the arm all the way down to behind Jones's head. You keep your arms up, and you're probably not going to get the foul in that situation.
Just a reminder after us here in Chestnut Hill, West Durham, Corey Alexander, Virginia Tech, and Miami.
And a critical game for both teams. Miami has played very well at home. Virginia Tech has struggled on the road. But this is the point in the season where people start the standings start to sort of separate. Teams start to separate themselves out. And if you're Virginia Tech or Miami, you want the separation to be in the positive direction, not the negative.
You want to avoid playing on Tuesday at the tournament if you can. Jeffers again inside. Chance at the three-point play.
And again, they're attacking Michael Young. Young has been a mismatch problem for them down on the other end. But here, Young is a little bit smallish. Jeffers has a couple of inches and a few pounds down on the inside. And he's able to use that advantage effectively on that occasion. And that's even though he stayed with his right hand, so he brought the ball back to Young. Young just couldn't knock it away. You'd like to see your big guy in that situation shoot that with his left hand and protect the basketball.
So that was the second foul on Young. Jeffers has 14 points, and despite that miss at the free throw line, that's a new season high for Mo Jeffers, the graduate student from Washington, D.C.
See, now Jeffers is going to pick up a foul. He's trying to push Young out, and that's 4 personal fouls. So that's going to bring Tavy back in the game. So now Boston College gets a little smaller. Now they're about the same size as Pittsburgh. They won't be able to attack Young on the inside quite as effectively.
Jeffers goes 6'9". Tavy comes in 6'6".
Artist going to call for the push. That's only his second personal foul.
Carry on Robinson. Les Jones was right there to make the call.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, it's better to do it when the referee isn't 2 feet away from you, particularly an alert referee like Les Jones.
He's joined by Joe Lindsay and Tony Chiazza tonight as our officiating crew in Chestnut Hill.
BC in the man-to-man.
Just a 7-point game with 5:30 to go. Tavy trying to stay with Young. It's a difficult task. Did well, but Jeter was a little bit better.
It is a difficult task, and even though Young missed the basket, the fact that Young was operating down inside caused the defense to come toward him, and nobody was available to block out Jeter.
14 points for Jeter, Dan, but 13 in this half.
Well, he just did a great job getting great position.
Chased down by Jones.
But that was some job by Artis getting in there and tipping the ball away. Boston College looked like they had position for the rebound because 2 Pitt Panthers went to try for the block.
Michael Young leads all scorers with 27 points, couple of threes, 7 rebounds. Somehow he's able to get that one up on the rim. The whistle indicates a foul against Boston College.
And watch here is the defense. Everybody's looking this way. Nobody's looking to block out Jeter, and he just gets great position inside. We mentioned an outstanding offensive rebounder, and he just took advantage of the fact that the Boston College defense was focused on Michael Young.
Keep this in mind as well, Dan, as you think about the career of this senior. Over 1,600 points in his career. Closing in on 800 career rebounds as Popovich comes in. And over 200 career assists for Michael Young in the Pittsburgh uniform.
Well, his versatility has been really amazing. And, you know, he's played a number of different positions. He's played basically the post or the 5 position now. There, Robinson goes right by Jeter. But he's also played the power forward, the 4. He plays out on the 3, on the wing. He's very capable of handling a number of different assignments and handling them well. Boston College hanging around. They have a chance to make a little run here. Got to tighten up on the defensive end, couple of baskets, and suddenly this becomes very interesting.
5 on the shot clock. Young with the recognition.
Boy, Jeter going over the back that time. Nice block
was
out.
there. Yeah, Chapman was there for BC, Dan. We got a basketball game just inside of 4 minutes to go, and Jim Christian's team trying to get back in it.
This is simple. This is about Duke and Carolina. The North Carolina-Duke rival.
Going down ain't good enough, I'm going up. I see the limit, but I know it ain't enough. Just when they thought they seen it all, change it up. Create my own rules, make my own luck. Ain't going down, we going up. Ain't going down, we going up. Ain't going down, we going up. Going down ain't good enough, we going up.
Once you get in the Army, you hear the term Ranger, and you look at it as the highest standards. I was extremely proud to be part of the 1st Ranger Battalion. When I was deployed, I knew that USAA was taking care of my wife when she was back home. And now I know with my son that the USAA will continue to provide the insurance and protection we need.
They always say, you've served your country, so we're here to serve you.
My name is Alejandro Villanueva, and I'm a USAA member for life.
Call USAA today to talk about your insurance needs.
We're on the road against Jim Larinaga's Miami Hurricanes. It's coming up next. Those 2 teams right in the thick of things in the standings.
Right,
in the
you
ACC
look right
game.
here, and those guys, they're right together with one another here. How about Syracuse? Everybody,
how about
they
them,
were
Dan?
left for dead, and they're coming back. Now, they've got to keep it going. Their numbers like RPI, it's inching up there, and they look like they're in pretty good shape now, but they can't afford a losing streak to follow this 5-game winning streak.
So Syracuse is 8-4, 6-0 in the ACC at home. They've won 5 in a row, beat Virginia on Saturday. A last-second shot by Tyus Battle yesterday to beat Clemson. And after the game Saturday against Virginia, Jim Boeheim said, I've now been a part, as a head coach, of 1,000 wins. at Syracuse. Now, he's got more because he was an assistant as well and a player there. Said he's been there since he's 17 years old. Now, this game is getting tight after those free throws. 70-64, Pittsburgh in the lead.
Now, Artis, who has had that ankle problem, only has 4 points tonight. So the Panthers might look to him here as we go down the stretch. Michael Young has been the guy all night.
Artis played some prep ball right here in Massachusetts at Notre Dame Prep. Also attended Vermont Academy, out of bounds, Panther basketball.
And Kevin Stallings is asking for a kick basketball, which would give him 15 seconds on the shot clock, but there's only 5. They were trying to go into Young, but Cam Johnson just didn't make a very good pass.
28 points for Michael Young to lead all scorers. That's off of Robinson. Only 1 second came off the shot clock, and thusly off the game clock as well.
Well, that was a very good play by Jerome Robinson. Artis was right next to the basket. If he gets the ball there, it's over.
Johnson driving his way to the rim with a defender on his hip.
Well, he just out-toughed Chapman right there. Chapman's got to move his feet, put 1 foot on the baseline, force Johnson into a situation where he has to charge.
7 points, Cam Johnson.
That was a key play for the Panthers.
Now Robinson steps back for 3. Popovich trying to go back up strong.
Now you got to dig in again here if you're BC. This is a must-stop situation, I would think.
Both of these teams trying to end losing streaks.
And here's Young isolated down inside. That's just impossible for Tavy. He cannot guard that by himself. Young now has 30.
11 of 19 from the floor for Michael Young and 30 points.
Well, that's good defense by Johnson, cutting Chapman off.
Bowman blocked by Young. Popovich went up for a jam and had that one knocked away.
So what else do you want Young to do?
Wow.
He's got 30 points. He's now got 3 blocked shots. He's got 8 rebounds.
Dan, those
and he's
30,
got 2 assists.
Yeah, those 30 have tied his career high. Quickly closing in on 1,700 career points in a Pittsburgh uniform, Michael Young. Jones had 3 defenders around him, and one of them grabbed him.
And talk about a guy who's pretty quick off his feet. Here Young gets the first one, lands, goes right up again, gets his feet set, blocks the second one. That's just very active on defense. And Bowman driving that time to score. Pitt surrounded him.
Both teams in the bonus with 1:52 to go as Turner comes back in for Boston College and Popovich heads to the bench.
And Jones has had a very productive evening for the Pitt Panthers. Particularly, he's done a nice job getting to the free throw line. He's now 5 out of 6 from the line. He has 11 points in the game. He has played very well.
He has shot it well in his last 7 games now, including tonight against BC. He's over 60% from the floor. Boston College needs points in a hurry. It's a good selection for the offensive drive by Robinson. Quick double.
Offensive foul.
Against Artis.
That's 2 offensive fouls in the last couple minutes against Artis. His teammates have to help him out. They threw the ball in bounds. That's now 3 fouls on Artis. They threw the ball in bounds, and he was trapped over in the corner. There's nobody anywhere around. His closest teammate was about 30 feet away, and that was not close enough. Jim Christian wants a timeout.
It's just the 9th turnover of the game, though, for Pittsburgh, and only 4 in this half as the Eagles take a timeout to discuss the situation.
Michael Young has really been a force for the Pitt Panthers, and he has scored in every way imaginable. We've seen him drive the ball to the basket. That was early in the game. And pull up with the jump shot. All right, then knock down the 3. Okay, so that's every area that you can want. And here again, he's got a mismatch inside, the little turnaround jump shot. And again, that's his spot, that short corner. Just that catch and shoot. And here he pulls up against a bigger player who's got to play him for the drive. When you do all those things, you are by definition hard to guard. And the more guys you have who are hard to guard, the better offensive team you are. And
54 points now in his last 2 games for Michael Young. Here is what lies ahead for Pittsburgh. The Quicken Loans upcoming schedule, Dan, for the Pittsburgh Panthers. They got to host that Orange team we were just talking about.
And Syracuse, you mentioned they've been playing very well. However, not so well on the road in the ACC. Only 2 ACC road wins. In fact, only 2 road wins on the year for Syracuse. And then Virginia Tech comes in.
Panthers looking for their second ACC win of the season. They won on January 4th in overtime at home against Virginia, 88-76. That, in fact, is their last victory as Tavy got behind Johnson there on the inbounds play.
The Panthers shot 41% in the first half. They've shot 68% here in the second half. That's why they have the 10-point lead.
Double bonus for BC. 2 shots coming for Tavy.
That's a nice inbounds play designed by Boston College there. Really put the pressure on the Panthers. They weren't able to defend it, but now, of course, you've got to make your free throws.
First time Tavy has gotten to the line.
He's been a pretty good free throw shooter in ACC play.
Three points for Tavy after the free throw. There's that double in the corner again. Jim Christian wanted to travel. The officials have other ideas.
Well, that was really a nice play by Chris Jones to use his strength. We've talked about the fact that at 6'6", 215, he is a strong guy. And that time he just did a nice job getting his head and shoulders through the double team so he could create a passing lane. And he got fouled.
6 of 7 from the line tonight, Dan.
Now, we said he has been an important factor for the Panthers.
Pittsburgh as a team, one of the better free throw shooting teams in the ACC, 4th in the conference and 72%.
Panthers showing a little bit of pressure. I don't think they're trying to steal the ball, even though they almost did, as much as they're trying to get BC to run some time off the clock and maybe not be quite as organized down on the offensive end. But this is a situation where you have to have Bowman and Robinson handling the ball and either scoring or creating opportunities for other players.
Those 2 guys have combined for 32 points tonight. They send it back out to Bowman.
Got to find this guy.
Bowman teeing up the 3.
That's a great job by Chapman to pass up a tough shot and Bowman to go find an open area. You know, when Chapman catches the ball out beyond the arc, he's going to draw some attention.
13 points, 4 3-pointers for Bowman. Final minute of regulation. An 8-point difference. Pittsburgh is led by as many as 14 in this half.
And the Panthers just can't sit on it here. That's a great job by Bowman.
Artis was able to call the timeout as
it was only 5 seconds left on the shot clock. And this Tavy gets the ball inside, passes it to Bowman. Now watch Bowman. He drives to the basket and then cuts to the corner. Everybody goes to Chapman, and Bowman is all alone. That is a very nice play by Boston College. Chapman helps make it by getting into the lane, and Bowman makes it by going to find the open spot.
44 made threes on the season for Kai Bowman, the freshman, second best on the team. Sixth straight game with double figures for Bowman. Now he's got 13. But that guy has been tough to stop tonight.
Yeah.
The mask fits perfectly for Michael Young.
You know, Boston College has scored enough points. They got 70. They just haven't been able to stop Pitt.
Artis.
Oh, boy.
Robinson with the swipe and the foul.
See, and they were going to force him into a very difficult shot, so that's 4 fouls on Robinson. But the problem there for Jim Christian is there was only like 2 seconds on the shot clock. You're going to get the ball back without the foul. Now you give Pitt the chance to go to the free throw line and basically salt it away. That just defeats the whole purpose of what you're trying to do. If you were going to foul, you fouled with 29 seconds left on the shot clock, not with 2 seconds left on the shot clock.
Second half from the line, Dan. The Panthers 16 of 18.
I think that's a traveling violation. Yes, it is. Bowman got going a little too quickly. It's a tough night. Jim Christian saw his guys play well early in the first half, but Pitt really started to surge behind Michael Young. It's really hard to win a game in this league when one of the other guys knocks you down for 30.
Well, he tied his career high tonight with those 30 points, 11 of 19 from the floor. Couple of threes, 7 rebounds, 6 of 8 from the line. That is what we call a robust stat line from Michael Young tonight, if I may say so, Dan Bonner.
You may say so.
Thank you, sir. Pittsburgh by 10, 42.2 seconds on the game clock.
And now if you're the Panthers, just have to hang on to the ball. You don't have to shoot it.
It's a big win for Kevin Stallings, Dan. He got that win in OT against Virginia. And the previous game, they had lost in OT to Notre Dame at home. And then they lost 8 in a row after that. So he obviously knows how difficult it is to win in the ACC, regardless of the venue.
Well, they've struggled, and one of the reasons for their struggles are the fact that, Ryan Luther got hurt. And it's not like Ryan Luther is the most valuable player in the Atlantic Coast Conference, but he's a very versatile guy, can play a couple of different positions. And when you lose a guy like that, it takes you a while to figure out where the rest of the pieces fit. And certainly they fit a whole lot better when you get one guy who's out there scoring 30. And Jeter, we talked about at halftime how he had to pick up his game. He has played very well in the second half. And Chris Jones has had an outstanding game. So even though Artis, with that injury, hasn't really been as effective, the Panthers have gotten a lot of contributions from guys besides Michael Young, but it helps when Young gets you 30.
15 points for Jeter, 14, as you mentioned, Dan, in the second half. There's Robinson, weak side Jeter rebound. BC surrounds him and fouls him. So the Panthers, should this score hold in the final 23.8 seconds to go, are going to get their first road win in conference.
We would have some story.
Yes, we would.
If this lead didn't hold in 23.8 seconds. But, and if you're Kevin Stallings, you've got to be very frustrated and disappointed, but you don't have any choice. You and your coaching staff and your players have to keep working, and so you give credit to Kevin Stallings and his staff and his players to just keep working at it.
Well, he told us at the shoot-around, Dan, he was concerned because he knew BC could score. Tonight, though, his team stepped up, and they've got 83 in the final seconds. Easy drive for Bowman.
And the Panthers have played better, but they weren't rewarded with wins. Now they play very well, and they get rewarded with a win, and that always helps your psyche.
Bowman, top of the key for 3. Cam Johnson pulls it in, and Boston College will allow him to run it up, stop in front of his own bench, and watch the final seconds tick off the clock. Dan Bonner, 83-72, Pittsburgh on the road for their second ACC win of the season.
And Michael Young, the big key in the game with 30 points, but the Panthers shared the ball very well in the second half, played much better on defense after about the first 15 minutes of the game, and now you got Miami and Virginia Tech coming up. That ought to be a heck of a game, too.
How about Pittsburgh in the second half, Dan? 68% from the floor to get the win, 83-72. Their record goes to 13-11 overall. Boston College drops another one. They've lost 7 in a row. They're 9-16. Michael Young tied his career high tonight with 30 points. The big offensive weapon for the Panthers. We thank you so much for joining us. For Dan Bonner and our outstanding production crew, I'm Tom Wormy, saying so long from Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts.